700 fender benders reported in a 3-day period.
There's our way in. Now move.
Perimeter is hot.
Dylan, what's that guy's name again? Bristow?
Okay, people, here's the situation. We've got unknown terrorists, well-armed, with no demands, and 7 hostages being held in the building's atrium. We can't drop you on the roof because they've got men with RPGs waiting. We can't go in on the ground because they've laid proximity mines.
30 seconds.
We're using the hotel across the street as cover for the chopper. Price, Loisel, you're gonna sit tight. Weber, cover Chavez. Domingo, you get to do the fun part.
We've got company.
I'll take care of him.
Cover me.
Line goes down.
Blow the vault. Roof is clear. Team, move into position.
Gentlemen, they're all yours.
On my mark. Go.
I've got them. Clear out.
RPG!
Get that chopper out of there.
He's firing! RPG is away.
Pilot, move!
Away. Hostage secure.
The attack in Boston was only one of several coordinated terrorist strikes against Venezuelan interests. Dr. Prince, what can you tell us about this most recent incident?
I think you can say that what we saw in Boston was an objection to Venezuela's foreign policy.
Was this related to OPEC's decision to impose an oil embargo against the U.S.?
Well, as you know, Venezuela is now the only OPEC member exporting oil to the United States. It's a very tense situation.
The Prime Minister has just arrived at the G8 summit in Gstaad, as has the President of Venezuela, here to discuss his nation's role in the present oil crisis. Talk of terrorism may also be on the agenda.
Here's the situation. We have 2 hostages inside the compound and an unknown number of terrorists. They're demanding $20 million and an end to the oil sales to the U.S. Both captives are members of the Venezuelan delegation, though President Ruiz is not on the list.
What about the other delegates?
Everyone else was let go as soon as the Swiss authorities showed up. The bad guys aren't budging on the Venezuelans, though, and that's why we're here. The situation's too hot for the locals to handle. Nice work, people. Unfortunately, we're not done yet. Some of the terrorists cut and ran before we arrived, and we're working cleanup. Fortunately, we know exactly where they are. They wiped out in a highway tunnel 20 clicks south of here, and barricaded themselves behind an overturned fuel truck. They've also pulled a couple of hostages out of stopped cars. This one's a rush job, gentlemen, so go get them.
It is my great honor to introduce the man whose generosity we celebrate today, Juan Crespo.
Thank you. This small contribution will benefit generations to come and enrich our lives. Now and always, I hope to do whatever I can for my beloved country.
In recent weeks, Venezuela has become America's primary petroleum supplier. In response to fears that Venezuelan supertankers may become terrorist targets, U.S. warships are now escorting every vessel carrying petroleum from that nation's refineries.
That little slice of paradise down there is Curaçao. It's the site of one of the world's largest oil refineries, operated by the Venezuelan National Oil Company.
What's the situation?
We've got an unknown number of hostiles in control of the refinery complex. They've got a hostage, and they've rigged the entire site with explosives. Now they're threatening to level the refinery.
Very messy.
Very lethal, too, but you knew that. Sorry about the accommodations, gentlemen. It's the best the Dutch government could do for us on short notice. Take a good look at your next target, team. Intel has found us an exclusive party that we really ought to attend. The guest list includes the CEO of the Venezuelan state-owned oil concern and his wife. Your job will be to escort them out of there.
Formal dress?
You'll be wearing black, of course. The whole soiree is being hosted by a band of well-trained terrorists. They're covering all of the entrances to the compound, so you'll have to hit it hard and fast. I recommend using this entrance for access.
Dieter, we'll need you to clear the way.
I'm on it.
Then, gentlemen, if you're ready, go pick up your invitations in the armory.
We will not give in to terror. We will resist. Starting today, the sale of oil to the U.S. will cease, as those profits cannot buy back our citizens' lives. And in my next term in office...
So tell me, Emilio, how goes the campaign?
Soon, he will formally declare he is running. And when the election comes, he will win.
The people are unhappy with Ruiz?
My people do not like to think of themselves as cowards.
He will make a fine president.
I have brought you some of his campaign materials. Feel free to help us distribute them.
Welcome to Venezuela, gentlemen. Several hours ago, a large band of terrorists infiltrated the shipyard in Puerto Cabello. Their profile indicates that this may be the same group we've been dealing with since Boston.
Any hostages?
Intel confirms we're in the clear there. The terrorists have wired the entire facility to blow. They want 50 million, or they pull the trigger. I'd rather you went in to negotiate with them personally.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States.
My fellow Americans, I stand before you in a time when terror serves as currency in the laws of international diplomacy. It is the responsibility of all who love freedom to fight against such tactics. To the men who perpetrated the acts of terror on American soil and who strike against the people of our sister nation, Venezuela, I call you cowards. If these events continue, the American people will respond swiftly and forcefully.
Gentlemen, terrorists have occupied the Crespo Children's Foundation office in Montreal, Canada. Crespo's been making a lot of noise in Venezuelan politics about getting the oil flowing back to America. His people are behind him. The terrorists want him dead.
The Montreal office? It has nothing to do with oil.
Crespo was due there for a monthly board meeting. However, his flight was delayed and the bad guys missed him. They've taken other hostages instead and want to make a trade for the man himself. This is not an option. You're here to pick up a delicate package. The cargo is Nusrat Ahmad, a Saudi national who feeds us useful intel while holding connections with several potentially active terrorist cells. This is the man who clued us into the Boston operation.
Remind me to thank him.
You'll get a chance to do it personally. His last communique indicated that his cover had been blown. We need to extract him before someone closes his file permanently.